There are two apartments on the fourth floor of a building in Columbus, Ohio. Same layout, same view of the parking lot, same $1,850 rent check every month. Apartment 4A. Marcus earns $95,000 a year. Designer furniture, a kitchen full of appliances, a closet that looks like a mid-size retail store. Apartment 4B. Jordan earns $52,000. A couch, a bed, a decent laptop, and a cast iron pan. That is most of it. Marcus opens his banking app on a Tuesday and feels that thing in his chest. You know the thing. That low-grade dread that shows up even when the number is not zero. Jordan opens the same app and closes it without much feeling at all. Because the number is fine. It has been fine for a while now. Marcus earns $43,000 more per year than Jordan. Not a little more. Nearly double. And Marcus has 18 months of expenses saved? No. Jordan does. Jordan sleeps fine. Marcus lies awake doing math in his head that never quite adds up. The obvious answer is spending. Marcus spends more. Sure. But that is the surface. What is underneath is something almost nobody talks about and almost everybody is doing. Marcus owns roughly $80,000 worth of possessions. Things he bought, things he wanted, things that were on sale. Every single one of those things has a second price tag. And Marcus has never once looked at it. That is what this is about. Let me start with something simple. When you buy a thing, you pay for the thing. That transaction feels complete. Receipt in your email. Done. But the thing does not stop costing you the moment you own it. It just starts charging you in ways that do not show up on any receipt. That is the game. Marcus bought a Peloton 2 years ago. $2,340. He uses it maybe once a month now, sometimes less. It sits in the corner of his bedroom being very expensive and very quiet. That machine takes up 12 square feet of his apartment. At Columbus rent rates, he is paying about $19 a month just to store a bike he does not ride. The average American home contains 300,000 items. 300,000. Most of those items have not been touched in over a year. But every single one is still charging rent. Space rent. Mental rent. All of it. Now, the Peloton also has a subscription. $44 a month. So that bike Marcus barely rides costs him $63 a month without him ever thinking about it. One object, one purchase decision made 2 years ago, still running a tab. He also owns a car, a good one, parked in the same lot that Jordan looks out at from 4B. Insurance, maintenance, registration, depreciation, $680 a month when you break it down honestly. Jordan takes the bus and occasionally rents a car for a weekend trip. Spends maybe $90 a month on transportation, and feels zero guilt about it. Marcus has a drawer in his kitchen that I think most of us have. You open it, and it breathes at you. Garlic press, 3 corkscrews, an avocado slicer that has definitely never touched an avocado, and something that might be a melon baller or might be a weapon. Nobody knows. It came with a set. Funny because it is familiar. Not so funny when you start adding up what all of it quietly costs every single month. There are 4 categories of second cost. Most people only ever see one of them, if that. I want to walk through all 4 with you. First, storage cost. Every item you own occupies space. Space you are paying for. That is not abstract. Your rent is divided by square footage whether you do the math or not. Second, maintenance cost. Things break, wear out, need servicing, need insurance, need subscriptions to keep working. Marcus's TV costs him $14 a month in streaming that he opened specifically because of the TV. I bought something 3 years ago that I thought cost me $200. When I finally calculated the real number, storage, maintenance, the subscription it needed, the opportunity cost of that money, I wanted to throw up. I will show you that calculation in a minute. Third, mental cost. This one is real, even though it is invisible. Everything you own is a small open loop in your brain. Where is it? Is it okay? Do I need to fix it? Should I get rid of it? If this is landing the way I think it is, subscribe. Because this channel exists to show you the math that the system hopes you never do. One click, and you will keep seeing it. Now, the mental cost. This is the one Marcus feels but cannot name. That low background hum of financial unease even when he is technically fine. Researchers have actually studied this. Clutter and excess possessions correlate directly with elevated cortisol levels. The stress hormone. Your stuff is literally stressing you out at a biological level. Jordan's apartment is not sparse because Jordan is cheap. It is sparse because Jordan understands, maybe without even putting words to it, that a clear room is a clear head. Fourth cost. This one is the biggest and the most invisible. It is called opportunity cost. And it is what that money could have become if it were not frozen inside the thing. That $2,240 Peloton. If Marcus had put it into an index fund 7 years ago at a 10% average return, that one purchase would have grown to around $4,560. The bike is worth maybe $400 used. He did not lose $2,340. He lost $4,160 in what that money could have become. That is the gap nobody sees. Now multiply that logic. Marcus has $80,000 in possessions. Most of them bought over the last 7 years. Most of them used occasionally or not at all. Stop. Look around wherever you are right now. Pick one object near you. Would you buy it again today if it vanished? Think honestly. If the answer is no, you are looking at frozen money. Money that stopped working for you the day you brought it home. 72% of items in the average American home were not used in the past year. Not touched, not moved, just owned, just sitting there running their quiet tab. Marcus has a storage unit. $95 a month. He opened it 5 years ago for a temporary move. He has been inside it 4 times since then. There are boxes in there he genuinely cannot identify without opening. He is paying $95 a month to store things he does not remember. That is $1,140 a year, going nowhere. Jordan does not have a storage unit. Jordan does not have things that do not fit in the apartment because Jordan does not have things that do not fit in the life. The system does not want you thinking this way. Every retailer, every ad, every sale event is designed to make you feel like the purchase is the whole transaction. It is not. It is barely the beginning. Here is what I want to name. The second cost. The price tag on the thing is the first cost. Everything that thing costs you from that day forward is the second cost. Second cost has 4 parts: storage, maintenance, mental load, opportunity cost. Every single thing you own charges you some combination of all 4. Always, without exception. A book on a shelf has a low second cost. A boat, a vacation home, a wardrobe that needs dry cleaning. The second cost can be 2 or 3 times the purchase price over the life of ownership. And here is the thing that nobody teaches you. High earners are more vulnerable to the second cost, not less, because they can afford to say yes to more things. And every yes is a second cost they are not calculating. Remember those 2 apartments from the beginning? Marcus is not irresponsible. He is not bad with money in any obvious way. He is trapped by the second cost on 300 different purchases he barely remembers making. That is the trap. It is invisible until you name it. Let me show you how the second cost actually works in numbers. Not theory. Numbers. Because this is where it gets uncomfortable. Take that $1,200 purchase I mentioned. I bought a camera setup 3 years ago, used it maybe 15 times. Here is what it actually cost me. I told myself I would document everything. Trips, moments, family things. I have 15 videos of bad lighting and me saying, "Is this on?" And 1 video of a dog that belongs to someone I do not know. The real cost of that camera was not wow $200. Let me actually build this out. Purchase price, $1,200. Storage space in a closet I could have used differently. Call it minimal, $8 a month. Extra insurance rider, $12 a month. Extra memory cards and accessories I bought because I owned it, $200. Over 3 years, that is $720 in ongoing costs I had not counted, plus the original $1,200. So the camera did not cost $1,200. It cost $1,920 in real dollars spent. Now the opportunity cost. Why $200 in an index fund 3 years ago at 10% average annual return? That would be roughly $597 today. So I did not lose $1,200. I lost $397 in growth on top of everything else. I used it 15 times. $920 divided by 15. My cost per use on that camera was $128. Every single time. Compare that to renting the same camera. $35 a day. I would have spent $525 total for the exact same 15 uses. The second cost made owning 4 times more expensive than renting. In the next 60 seconds, I am going to show you the exact math that separates financial anxiety from financial peace. using real 2025 numbers. The 847 number, the $127,000 number. These are Marcus's actual second costs calculated out. Hang on, there is also a metric called cost per use. This is how you test whether something is actually pulling its weight. Take what you paid, add the ongoing costs you have paid since, divide by the number of times you have used it. A good cast iron pan used 400 times? Cost per use might be 0.008. A juicer used 3 times? That cost per use is probably $23.40 or worse. That is the honest price of the object. Jordan owns things with low cost per use, not cheap things. The cast iron pan was not cheap, but things that earn their keep every single week. Marcus owns things that felt worth it at the moment of purchase and have been quietly expensive ever since. The moment you understand that distinction, you start seeing it everywhere. Jordan is not deprived. Jordan has not sacrificed quality of life. Jordan has just learned to measure cost correctly, the full cost, the second cost included. That is why Jordan can earn $52,000 and sleep soundly. The money is not leaking out of 300 little holes called possessions. It is sitting in an account, building, waiting. Jordan has 18 months of expenses saved. That is not luck. That is what happens when you stop letting the second cost quietly drain the difference between your income and your freedom. Marcus earns $43,000 more and has nearly nothing saved. The second cost ate it, silently, across hundreds of purchase decisions that each felt reasonable on their own. Now let me show you the full number, the one I have been holding back since the beginning. Here is the number that changed everything for me. And here is your challenge. Calculate this for just one room in your home by the end of today. Not everything. One room. The number will surprise you. Marcus's $80,000 in possessions. When you calculate the storage costs, the maintenance costs, the subscriptions tied to those possessions, and the monthly mental tax, the real ongoing cost is $847 per month. Before the $127,000 number, if you want to keep seeing math like this, the math that actually changes how you think about money, hit subscribe. It is free, and it is the kind of thing that compounds. $847 every month in second costs. Now let me finish the math. If Marcus had invested $847 a month for 7 years instead of letting it drain into second costs, at a 10% average annual return, he would have an additional $127,000 sitting in an index fund right now. Not $127,000 more income, not a raise, not a windfall. $127,000 that was already in his life, already in his budget, leaking out through the second cost on things he barely uses. That is the difference between Marcus with his stomach in a knot on a Tuesday and Jordan who just sleeps. $127,000 and 7 years of compounding. So what do you actually do with this? There are 3 moves, not 10, not a whole system. 3 specific things that interrupt the second cost before it starts. Move 1. Before any purchase over $100, ask the cost per use question. How many times will I realistically use this in the next 12 months? Divide the price by that number. That is the honest price. If the honest price per use is higher than renting or borrowing the same thing, you do not buy it. Full stop. The juicer at $23.40 per use loses to a $4 juice every single time. Move 2. Do a second cost audit on what you already own. Pick one category. Clothes, kitchen, garage, storage unit if you have one. List what it is costing you monthly beyond the original price. That number is almost always a shock. Everything on that list that you would not buy again today gets liquidated. Sold, donated, gone. Because the moment you get rid of it, the second cost stops. Immediately. Move 3. Take whatever monthly second cost you eliminate and redirect it. Automatically. To an index fund, to your emergency savings, to the thing that actually builds. That is how $847 becomes $127,000. Not someday. The month you eliminate the second cost, that money goes somewhere intentional. Automatic transfer set up before you can spend it on something else that will charge you twice. Jordan did not start earning $52,000 and suddenly have 18 months saved. Jordan built that over time by refusing to let the second cost drain the margin. Every month the margin widened a little more. Same 4th floor. Same view of the parking lot. Same $1,850 rent. One apartment full of $80,000 in things and a person who cannot sleep. One apartment with a cast iron pan and a person who can. The difference was never the income. It was always the second cost.